I know David Greenshield will be happy if I make sure to say this is definitively the best wide receiver core in the nation. Set us up.
Yeah, I just saw a website, Pro Football Focus. Is that what PFF stands for? They did the top 10 guys at every position in college football, and they had Olave number 1 and Wilson number 2 at wide receiver, which is unprecedented, uncanny. I guess you could say that the two guys, Smith and Waddle from Alabama last year, would have contended that if they'd both been healthy. Smith said he wouldn't have won the Heisman if Waddle had been healthy, but because Waddle would have won it. But maybe they'll pose some type of a similar type tandem this year, Wilson and Olave. Olave, 50 catches, 7 touchdowns. Wilson, 43 catches, 6 touchdowns last year. Those two were amazing. Jamison Williams was the third starter last year, but obviously he was supplanted by Jackson Smith-Njigba and decided to transfer to Alabama. The two freshmen, Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr., are in the 2 deep already after a great spring. Both of them put up huge numbers in the spring game. And Julian Fleming, the number 1 wide receiver in the 2020 high school recruiting class, still dealing with some shoulder issues from his high school days, trying to get healthy. When he does that, we think he'll fill out the 2 deep as well. So they got a pretty good top 6 right there. And Jaden Ballard, who enrolled early, is also in this group too somewhere. So they've got some pretty good wide receivers coming back and several new guys as well, and got to be very excited about the direction this is going to take.
And we've wondered how are they going to play all these guys even 5 or 6 months ago. And since then, G. Scott is at tight end and Jamison Williams is out. So this is my 6 as well in this rotation. I might have Julian Fleming at Z and Marvin Harrison at X, but the point is the same. Like, these 6 should all play. I know that's been what they've wanted to do. They've done it in the past. They've won a national championship playing 6 receivers. And if you can do that, then all the better. It wears out the defense. It keeps guys fresh. I'll be convinced that they're going to play Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. You know, how much are they going to rotate them? Or is it 2/3 of the time instead of half the time that those two play? They're tough to take off the field, but you've got guys that want to play, have a one-time transfer waiver, have the transfer portal. You've got to play guys or you're going to lose them. And so if that means Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave get 15 fewer snaps, so be it, because these other guys are good and you're going to need them next year because Wilson and Olave are going to be gone after this year. There's no reason these other guys can't play. And I really like the 2 deep at each spot. They've got talent. They're productive. You got so many different prototypes there that they can all do stuff after the catch. They can all do stuff before the catch. And it's a really good group. I don't know if it's the best in the nation because I haven't seen the rest of the nation, but it's the best I've seen at Ohio State. But this is also projecting because these are guys who haven't really – there's quite a few here who haven't done anything yet. So let's see what they do. But again, they should. But with new quarterback, there are some concerns. But I think Hartline is plenty happy with what he has, and they should do well. But we still have to see it, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess I will. We've talked about what hills I'm willing to die on and not die, and I'm willing to die on this one. Best receiver group in the country. When you have 1 and 2 according to PFF, and truthfully speaking, I don't need PFF to tell me that this is the best 1-2 punch. It is. I mean, plain and simple. We sit there, we see Jamison Williams leave for more opportunity at Alabama, of all places. Jackson Smith-Njigba really kind of elevated himself last year. It's going to be there. I don't think that there's an Ohio State fan out there that's not just foaming at the mouth over what Marvin Harrison was able to do in the spring game. Ohio State certainly has looked for that big type of receiver before. Maybe it's not found the answer with Jalen Harris or Elijah Gardner and some of these other guys. He fills a role there. oh, we haven't even mentioned Jaden Ballard. We haven't mentioned Emeka Egbuka. There's just so much depth there. And I agree in terms of it's going to be on Kevin Wilson and Brian Hartline and ultimately Ryan Day to make sure there is enough of a rotation out there. And if you do get a little bit less of Olave and Wilson, maybe once games are somewhat in hand, so be it. They're both off to the NFL next year. Let's just call it what it is. Keep everybody else involved so you have that depth going forward, because I think that this could be not only the best receiver room here in 2021, but if we see guys like, and I haven't even mentioned Julian Fleming. I mean, if we see Julian Fleming bounce back from that nagging shoulder injury, if we see Jackson Smith and Jigba, we see Egbuka, Harrison, whoever, it's just going to be an embarrassment of riches. And then I'm getting ahead of myself, but you bring in guys like Caleb Burden and Keon Grays and anybody else that they may be able to add in recruiting. This Ohio State receiver room is not going downhill anytime soon. But this year, I think that the 6 that Steve pegged are 100% the way I would have it. Maybe, as Tony said, you can get into the finer points of who's an X and who's a Z or whatever. But I'm not going to get lost in that minutia. These guys are really good.